This is Copper 90 and these are the top 10 derbies you might not have heard of. They might not get the coverage of the old firm, but these derbies are all played out to a backdrop of mutual dislike and are well worth a watch. LSK Lodz against WIDZEW Lodz. Since WIDZEW Lodz won back-to-back league titles in the early 80s, the Lodz derby has become what many consider to be one of the best in Poland. On one side are LKS Lodz, one-time glamour boys and darlings of the elite, and on the other are WIDZEW, a former workers' team who are known as peasants by their rivals. Due to both suffering bankruptcy and relegations, the teams haven't met since 2012, but will renew hostilities this season in the fourth tier of Polish football. It's gonna go off. ESTEGHLAL and PERSEPOLIS. Iranian football might not be a traditional hotbed of talent, but when it comes to partisan support, it's right up there. The red-shirted Persepolis are Iran's most successful club, with a fan base hailing from the working classes, while over in the blue corner, ESTEGHLAL are seen as the club of the ruling establishment. A derby often marred by violence on and off the pitch, it's seen as the biggest in Asia, and ESTEGHLAL are currently leading 24-22 in victories. GENOA against Sampdoria. It might not have the global glamour of its Milan counterpart, but the derby between Genoa and Sampdoria is deeply important. Genoa is Italy's oldest club, while Sampdoria, formed in 1946, is the youngest of the big teams. Named after the city's ancient lighthouse, it's been described by Marcello Lippi as the most special in Italy, and literally splits Genoa and the Liguria region in half. AIK Stockholm versus DJURGÅRDEN. Due to the close proximity of the clubs, and the fact they formed 3 weeks apart in 1891, AIK Stockholm versus DJURGÅRDEN is known as the Twin Derby, and like all sibling rivalries, it's one that has regularly kicked off. Unquestionably the biggest derby in Scandinavia, AIK's Black Army and DJURGÅRDEN's Blue Saints revel in the animosity which has also crept into matches between both clubs' ice hockey teams. Classico dos Milhões, Fluminense and Vasco da Gama. Flamengo versus Fluminense might be better known around the world, but if you really want to see Rio shake, then pitch up when Flamengo and Vasco da Gama lock horns. The pair have 45 million fans between them, a ridiculous amount when you consider the derby stemmed from a rivalry between two rowing clubs of the same name, and have now played nearly 350 times. Bayern Munich against 1860 Munich. Reserve team derbies aren't often matches to get too excited about, but seeing as this is the only true Munich derby, it's worth taking notice of for various reasons. The club's headquarters are less than a mile apart, they first played each other in 1902, and because both teams play in the Regionalliga Bavaria, the games are played at the legendary ŁÓDŻ Stadium, which 1860 and Bayern shared until 1975 when the Olympic Stadium was opened. Club Africain and Espérance. If you've never been to Tunis, you really should. Vibrant, iconic, and teeming with culture, it's one of North Africa's great cities. It's also host to one of the continent's legendary derbies between Club Africain and Espérance. The two clubs are less than 1 kilometre apart, and since first playing each other in 1955, they've gone toe-to-toe on 120 occasions, with Espérance leading the victory chart 48 to Africain's 27. Rotterdam derby. FEYENOORD against Sparta Rotterdam. A tough port city with a heart of gold, Rotterdam is home to two of Holland's most iconic clubs who do not like each other at all, with Sparta fans in particular disliking Feyenoord to a point they refuse to enter the De Kuip Stadium. Sparta might be Holland's oldest club, but Feyenoord hold the bragging rights, winning 14 league titles to 6 and lording it over their neighbours. The Mostar derby. Divided by civil war and at loggerheads both politically and ideologically, the Mostar derby is one of world football's most complex, and is continuously marred by violence. Zrinski are from the Catholic Croat west bank of the Herzegovinian city, whilst Velez hail from the Bosniak Muslim east side. Games between the two are so weighed down by 100 years of militant opposition that the football almost doesn't matter. Kolkata derby. East Bengal against Mohoun Bagan. You think of India and you think of cricket, don't you? In many ways, you're right. But Kolkata has always been a football-obsessed city, and this derby is one of the most frenetic in the world, with over 100,000 fans packing into the shared Salt Lake Stadium to trade insults. Mohoun Bagan is India's oldest club, formed in 1889 when Kolkata was capital of the British Raj, whilst East Bengal were the club of the migrants from what is now Bangladesh. After one 5-0 defeat, Mohoun Bagan players had to hide in a boat on the Ganges to escape the fury of their fans. That was Copper 90's top 10 derbies you might not have heard of. Did we miss any? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.